These are the notes for today's Do Now and the classwork. For the Do Now, the first set of questions is asking you to identify the type of slopes you see in this graph. So the first question, the slope of line A, which is this one right here, the slope is either going to be positive, negative, 0, or undefined. And it's the same question for the rest of these slopes. In this line, notice that they said that the person is walking from west to east. So here's west, here's east. So walking in this direction, you're going that way. And anytime you read a graph of a line, whenever we're looking at graphs of lines like this over here, you're always going to be reading it like you read a sentence from left to right. So always scan it from here, going in that direction, to figure out if it's a positive, negative, 0, or undefined slope. So for the first question, the slope of line A, if I scan from left to right, this direction, I can see I'm going uphill. So the answer for this one is positive slope. Question 2, the slope of line B, which is this one here. If I'm going in this direction, you can see it's going downhill. This is a negative slope. The slope of line C, which is this one right here, when I go from west to east or left to right, you can see it's not changing. It's not increasing. It's not decreasing. It stays the same. Therefore, we call this a 0 slope. And then for the last one, the line D, you can see that it's just going straight down. If your slope is just a vertical line like this, that we call that a undefined slope. So again, this is a positive slope, negative slope, 0 slope, and this is undefined. Question 2 wants you to simplify using prime factorization, so simplify the fraction. So I know 15, I could break that apart into the factors 3 times 5, and then 27 would be 3 times 3 times 3. And I can see I have one pair of common factors, so my final answer would be 5 for my numerator, the top, and 3 times 3, which is 9. So my answer for 15/27 in simplified form would be 5/9. Now question 3, what is the slope of the line below? So this one, you have to find 2 points on the line first. So as you scan your line, you're going to look for a point where it crosses the grid. So I know I can use this line here, and I keep going until it crosses another point on the grid, which is right here. To get your slope, remember slope is a ratio, rise over run. So when I go to my picture, my rise is this vertical piece. So I have to go, to get from point A to point B, I have to go up 1, 2, 3. So 3 is the rise. So I'll put that for my top number. And then the run, I go up 3. And how many do I go across? I got to go 1, 2. So 2 units across. That's my run. And I put a 2 there. And those are the answers for your Do Now. Now I'm going to give you the notes for today's classwork. Notice that you're going to see the topic name here. So when you're in IXL and you're working on this topic, you can refer to these notes. And then similarly, when you're working on this topic in IXL, FSV, you're going to refer to these notes. So these notes will help you for today's 2 topics. So we're going to start with the notes IXL D7M, so the notes for that topic. And each question is the same. What is the slope of this line? And I'm going to give you 2 points. So for the first one, we're going to plot the points 2, -1, and 4, 5. And remember that your points are always x, y values. Notice here's my x-axis is this one, and my y-axis is this one. So if it helps, your x value is always going to move either left or right. Your y value is always going to move either up or down. So I can use these directions to help me plot the points. So starting at the origin, this one right here, I know I got to go right 2. This is a negative, so I know I got to go down 1. So right 2, down 1. Starting at the origin, right 2, down 1. Put my point, and repeat for the second one. This is a positive 4, so that means I'm going to go to the right. Positive 5 means go up. So right 4, up 5. Right 4, and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for my second point. And now I just draw my line through those 2 points. And don't worry if you're off by a little bit. I'm just going to fix mine, but here we go. So that's my line right there. And then to help organize your answers, I put down here the slope, which is the ratio of rise to run. So we need to get the rise. So how do I get from this point to this point? I got to go up a certain amount, and the run would be this direction. So up, how much did I go up? So starting here, I moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's my rise. And then I have to go across 1, 2 units. That's the run. So this is the evidence I'm looking for when you're doing your work. So make sure you put down the rise and the run, and so I can see how you're getting that information for this. So my rise again is this piece here, which is 6. The run is this piece here, which is 2 units. And make sure you simplify your answers, which in this case, I can actually divide this. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. And then one thing I want to point out, just like we talked about up here in the types of slopes, positive, negative, 0, undefined, when you're answering the questions over here, when you calculate slope, that is information that can be useful, because if you look at this picture, from left to right, I can see that this is a positive slope. It's increasing from left to right. It's going up, positive slope. So I'm going to write that down here. This is a positive slope. It's a positive slope. And notice, positive slope, my answer is also positive. So these two will always match. Whenever you calculate the slope of a line, make sure the answer will match the type of slope it is. If it doesn't, that means you made a mistake somewhere. All right, and this is the next problem. What is the slope of the line that's going to pass through the point? -5, -1, -5, -3. And remember, I can use my directions here to figure out how to plot the points. So this one right here is going to be left 5. This is going to be down 1. Because remember, the first is always left or right. Negative number, go left. This is a negative, so go down. So those are my 2 points here. So here I'm going to put left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1. Then the other one is left 5, down 3. So left 5, down 1, 2, 3. Then I draw my line through those 2 points. Next, you need to get the rise and the run. So here I can see my rise is 2. And notice there's no run. It's just, it moves up 2 and that's it. So I'm going to put my rise as 2 units. There is no run. So since there's no run, the number we're going to use for that is 0. And if you look at the type of slope that this is, as we did in the do now, this is called an undefined slope. It's a vertical line. If it's a vertical line, there's no run. It's just vertical. We call that undefined. And notice your answer will always match. In math, if you're dividing a number that's not 0, if you divide by 0, that is undefined. You cannot divide by 0. So remember, positive answer, positive slope. If your slope is an undefined slope, you're going to see the calculation will be undefined as well. When you try to divide by 0, you're going to get an undefined answer. So I'm going to put undefined slope. All right, here's the next one. We're going to plot the points -5, 0, and 4, -3. So here are my 2 points with the line passing through it. So remember, -5, 0 means you're going to go left 5, and then you put your point because there's no other movement. And this is right 4, down 3. So left 5, put my point. And then for the second point, I do right 4, down 3, and I put my second point, and then I drew my line. Now to calculate the slope of the line, you're going to look at the rise and the run. So I make my dashed line here. I can see here my rise is 3, and the run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's the rise and the run. So I want to put the rise in the correct spot, the run in the bottom spot. Make sure you simplify your answer, which I know I can simplify this because this will be 3 times 1 up top. The bottom will be 3 times 3. So I know I could eliminate 1 pair of 3's, and that leaves the answer 1/3. Now remember, previously I mentioned that a positive slope means you're going to have a positive answer. Undefined slope is going to be undefined when you're dividing by 0. And in this case, this is a negative slope. It's going down. Negative slope. So my answer should be negative. So negative slope, negative answer. Another way to tell is you can see the rise, we have to go down 3. So down 3 and right 9. So you could write down the classification of this slope as negative slope. And here's my last example. I'm going to plot the points 4, 6, and 6, 6. And you can see the directions for this one is going to be right 4, up 6, and then right 6 and up 6. So right 4, up 6, and then right 6, up 6. Then I draw my line through the 2 points. And in this line, I can see that this distance here is 2 units apart. And this right here represents the run. So that's going to be my bottom number. Notice there is no rise. We don't rise at all. So my answer for this one is going to be 0. And as always, you're going to simplify your answer. 0 divided by 2 is 0. Remember, this right here is called a 0 slope. And my answer matches. My answer is also 0. So a 0 slope will always match the answer you get, which in this case was 0. So they always should match. All right, here's your notes for the second side of the classwork. So this one is not as bad. Basically, they're going to tell you to graph a line with a slope that's going to be given to you. and they also want it to pass through a specific point. So I'm going to walk you through 4 different examples. So the slope for the first one we're going to do is 1/2, and it's going to pass through the point 0, 5. The way you're going to start these problems is you always plot the point first. So we're going to plot the point 0, 5, which would be here, and then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the point 0, 5. The next part is to take your slope. I'm going to plug it in down here, which is 1/2. And it helps to know which way to move. So the rise is 1, so I know that's telling me to move up 1. The run is 2, which means to move to the right. Again, rise is either going to be up or down. The run is always going to be left or right, so depending on the way you put the positives and negatives. Once you have your slope, you're going to use that slope starting at the first point. So starting here, I'm going to go up 1, right 2. So starting here, up 1, right 2, put my point, and I draw my line, and I'm done. That's all you have to do. So you plot the point and use your slope to get the second point. This is example number 2. So they want the slope to be -3, and it's passing through the point 0, 0. So I'm always going to start with the point 0, 0, which is right here. Then I'm going to take my slope and organize it down here. So notice this is not a fraction. So if it's not a fraction, just put it over 1. And then next, remember, the rise is either going to be up or down. The run is always going to be left to right. So a -3 means I'm going to go down 3. The run is +1, which means I'm going to go to the right 1. So down 3, right 1, starting at this point. So down 3, 1, 2, 3, and then right 1. And then draw your line through both points. And make sure, as a recommendation, is to check that you did the correct slope. So down 1, 2, 3, right 1. So it looks good. And it's passing through that point 0, 0. All right, now for this next one, it's going to be a slope 0, and it's passing through the point 1, -2. So I'm going to put the point first, start with the point, 1, -2, and the slope is going to be 0. So if I fill that in down here, the slope is 0. Make it a fraction by putting it over 1. And I can see here the rise, there's no rise. The run is 1, so I'm going to move to the right 1 only. There is no up or down, it's just right 1, and that's it. So from here, right 1. Put my point, and that's it. So now I draw my line, and I'm all done. Notice this is a 0 slope, and my slope was 0. So if the slope is 0, it'll be a horizontal line always. Then for the last example, we're going to do an undefined slope passing through the point 2, 1. So always start with the point 2, 1. I put my point there, and my slope is undefined. You could go back to the do now if you forgot. The undefined slope, remember, was line D. Undefined slope was line D. So that's going to be a vertical line. So for this one, I know I'm going to draw a vertical line passing through this point right here. I didn't put anything down here, but if you want to, just remember that an undefined line is vertical. There is no run. It's just vertical movement. So there's only a rise. So that means the run is 0 because there is no horizontal movement. It's just a vertical movement for undefined slopes. So the top number, you could pretty much pick whatever number we want. I could have picked this point, and I could have put that the rise is 1. I could have picked this point, and then I could have said it was 2. So it doesn't matter because the bottom is 0, and you can't divide by 0 because that gives you an undefined slope. And that's it for the notes for today. So remember, there's only 4 types of slopes you're going to work with. It's a positive slope, a negative slope, the 0 slope, which is a horizontal line, and then the undefined slope, which is a vertical line. And then the other thing to remember is that your slope, the type of slope it is, will always match the answer. So if a positive slope, positive answer, negative slope, negative answer, a 0 slope, your answer will be 0, and an undefined slope, you're going to end up dividing by 0.